Hello everyone and welcome to Rob's Rogues, and today we're taking a look at the DC Universe Classics All-Stars 2 Batman. And this is the, it says All-Stars on the package, but the way Mattel marketed these figures is the second All-Stars line that they are issuing. And this is also the final retail for the DC Universe Classics. Now, some of us didn't know what that meant at first, if they were just done building action figures. Well, they're rebranding the name. It's now going to be DC Universe Unlimited, and they're going to start doing all the new 52 figures. So this was kind of like our first intro to what they're going to do. And they've offered in this All-Star line Batman and Superman in the new 52 costumes. And when they reissue them again, in probably the end of 2012, maybe the beginning of 2013, they're going to be in a metallic kind of-ish looking paint. I don't want to definitely say it's going to be metallic, but the silver on Batman is more of a, or this gray is more of a silver, and the Superman's does look a little metallic-ish. So if you've been reading the comics, I think you know what I'm saying, hopefully. This is actually the second review I shot for this particular Batman. The first review I shot immediately after the Red Robin review, and I was also plagued by battery life on my camera, so I was kind of hurrying through the video just a little bit. But the other big reason I wanted to reshoot it again is I was extremely disappointed in this Batman. And the reason so was his legs. When I first shot that video, Batman could not stand on his own. He has very, you can just see in them bend right here, very spongy legs. It's almost like this portion of the legs, when they put them together, that for whatever reason, these legs didn't cure right in the mold, or the quality control wasn't just right, that these legs probably shouldn't have been attached to this figure because they are just so loose. The pins in here feel like they want to come out. I really had to work to get Batman to stand. None of the joints would move at all, from the hinge in the foot to the hinge in the knee area here. And you can kind of see, I think on camera, how this little ball in here is sunk in a little too far, so it's not holding this leg very well. And this one kind of popped off the last time I was working with him. I didn't do that on camera, or I think I probably would have thrown the figure through the wall. So it made it really hard for me to be objective to this figure with the quality control issues that I have. And I guess it's kind of fitting. I am nearing my 1-year anniversary on YouTube on August 18th. So the very first figure I reviewed back then was a Robin figure. And you can already tell I'm kind of having some trouble getting him to stand. He does stand here. The last time I reviewed it was last Thursday. He did not stand at all. So I was kind of thinking about putting up that review also along with this one, so you could kind of see my immediate reaction to the figure. I couldn't even read the back cardstock because I was looking at the battery life on the camera, and I was still really upset that I've been waiting for this Batman, and I do really like this Batman quite a bit. It's a fresh new sculpt from Mattel. Now, granted, the body is the same, just the different pieces that they put on him. We'll get into the card really quick, and then we'll get into some of the other features that this Batman has. Very standard DC UC box that we have received at this time. Of course, the Bat logo is on there. The other figures in this way, we'll turn the light off real quick, are the new 52 Superman, new 52 Batman, which we are currently looking at, Red Robin, that we've already reviewed, and Superboy Prime. Out of this particular wave, I have opted to not get either of the two Supermen boy figures. Really hoping that this line does hit retail like they said it's going to, and I want to pick up this Superman. So hopefully I'm able to do that, buy the Superman in stores. Superboy Prime was the one figure in this wave that I really have no interest in buying at all. Now, if I was a Superman fan, I would probably jump on it. Maybe some people feel this way about Red Robin, but I think most Batman fans, and maybe DC fans, might want to pick up the Red Robin just because we haven't really received a Red Robin at this point. So the card reads, I believe, the same as the other Batman cards that we've received before, but we will kind of read through this really quick. As a young man, Bruce Wayne saw his parents fall victim to a senseless crime. His focused purpose became an avid to avenge their deaths by fighting Gotham City's criminals. I cannot read today. Gotham City's criminal element as Batman. The people of Gotham City see Batman as an almost a mythical figure, able to tame any adversary, no matter how powerful. To thwart crime, he relies on his awesome detective powers, which detective powers I don't believe he has detective powers, sheer physical speed, an assortment of high-tech weaponry, and unique crime-fighting aids. Kind of really botched that. So there is the read-up on that. Hopefully maybe you can pause or mute me and read it for yourself there. So back onto the figure. We'll pull the card out of the way so we have more room here. Like I said, I do really like this Batman quite a bit. You know, reviewing figures, I wanted to stay pretty much objective to this figure, but having the leg issues that I do. Now, granted, he is able to stand here. I can tap the table, but having a pin come out of that leg, I'm kind of wondering at what point, you know, will it happen again as he's on my shelf? Is he going to come toppling off the shelf? So that was a little bit of a bummer. The only thing I can chalk it up to, it's not that I now hate this figure, but it does make me a little cautious of this figure, and hopefully it is just in mine. Now, I have watched some other reviews, and nobody else really seems to be complaining about the legs at all. Everybody seems, if they're not mentioning the legs, then I'm assuming everybody else's legs are fine. The only thing I'm kind of seeing is that the head is a little bit wobbly. You can get it into position. Well, right there, you can kind of see it fall back down. So he is on a, it does move 360 and is on a little ball joint, but the ball joint in a certain spot will kind of let go and drop the head back down just a little bit. So that's something minor that I think all the Batmen are kind of plagued with at this point. But the leg issues, I think, are only in my figure, so don't let that be a deterrent to go get this figure, because I do really like it quite a bit. Now we'll bring up his counterpart from DC Collectibles, same Batman. And you can tell the DC Collectibles is a much larger figure, and we know that DC Collectibles, DC Direct, does a lot more detailing in the figure, and DC Collectibles went in and did all of the suit markings that are actually in the comics. And Mattel only has really done a few markings in the chest. The marks that are coming off the bat up here, they have those there, and then some of the detailing down in here. Other than that, it's just a straight figure gray pants and suit. Now, the reissue of this figure is going to be in this lighter gray scale than this darker here. I actually like this darker quite a bit. I think if this Batman would have been in the dark, this would have been really cool. I do like this Batman quite a bit, but I wanted you to be able to see the difference in the figure, since this is from the now same universe. The boots do have some of the same markings on them, just not these straight painted black boots. The gloves do have some extra markings on them as well. You kind of see that this Batman has a, raised piece here, the raised piece is there. So Mattel did do some of those extra sculptings. There's the grooves in here. You have the grooves in the gauntlet there on this Batman as well. Trying to get them in the frame at the same time. So similar, yes, you could tell they're from the same universe, but as far as sculpting and detail, DC Direct usually is the way to go. So if I was getting one of these two figures, which figure would I get? This is the hard decision, and I tend to cop out quite a bit. I guess it really depends. This Batman is not going to fit in scale with any of your DC Universe figures. So if you are wanting to get which is the better Batman to set with my DC Classics heroes, this Batman will not be it, because he's going to be the tallest figure out of everybody. So automatically I would say go with this one. If you're a Batman fan and you only want one of these, then I might lean towards here. If you're not worried about size and scale, you just kind of want to get different looking Batman, I do like this one quite a bit, and I love the cape on this one as well. Now we can get into the other differences from all the other different Batmen we have. And since we were speaking of capes, I love this cape on this Batman. You can kind of see the oil from my fingers on here on this cape, which I will have to wipe off. But this is a beautiful looking cape. You kind of see my Batman still plagued by the leg issues. So his cape is kind of helping holding up. So hopefully another Batman that I pick up will be able to stand a little bit better. But this cape is beautifully sculpted. It is very much reminiscent of this traditional classics Batman that we've received up to this point, how it's kind of folded in the middle. But as this cape basically goes around the neck and is kind of glued on and pegged in the back, the new Batman cape, it is all one piece. It is pegged in the back like the previous Batman are, but it goes up over the shoulders and is now also part of the neck. So I believe if you tried to take this off, this whole neck piece is sculpted, and you could tell hopefully by looking underneath of it. Maybe not be able to see it on the camera, but in person you could see the other neck of the gray body in here. So I think that's really cool that they kind of got away from this piece bulging up, and you have the whole entire cape and neck as one piece. So I think that makes the figure look a lot sleeker. And the face sculpt is a brand new face sculpt for Mattel. The ears are shorter in this new 52 for Batman. Zoom into the face here. So a lot of good detail work. You can see some ridges in on the nose and the eyebrows. So I really do like this Batman quite a bit. We've already been looking at this Batman already. You can kind of see some differences already in the two Batman. The height scale is the same. As you can tell, the ears are a lot bigger on this one. We also have the Young Justice Batman that sports the newer style of cape sculpting, which, you know, the neck of the cape is also one piece on here, so I think they took a little bit from that Batman. And then of course we have the DC Superheroes Batman as kind of a range of comparison of the different Batmen. These are the 4 body styles and 4 heads that we've received. There was the Sinestro Batman with the little scowl that also became the Batman Legacy Batman head, and the Golden Age Batman with the smiling face, but I didn't bring either of those two out. But as far as the capes go, all 4 capes are completely different, so you can kind of see the 4 different ranges of Batman that we have here. Pull them out. Now this Batman, everybody from this wave, it did not come with any accessories except for Red Robin. So if you happen to have an extra Batarang, which I'm sure we all do, Batman will hold any of the other accessories that any other Batman or anybody else has come along with. And as I've said in my channel previously, I like to put a Batman with a Robin. So I do have the DC Collectibles, DC Direct at the time, Damian. So since this is the universe these two are in, they look very well together, or look very well. They go very well together. Even though currently at the moment I have this Batman with Damian, which I think is a little bit more impressive, that this Batman is a lot taller and their scale is a little bit more accurate. But if you're just going to have these two on the shelf, it would be completely fine. But since Damian is with the DC Collectibles Batman, I think I'm going to go with Red Robin here next to Batman. So I have a Batman and a Robin together on my shelves. So that's pretty much going to do it for this review. Now I was able to contact Big Bag Toy Store, which that's where I received these 2 figures from, and Mattel both, and DC. Big Bad Toy Store is going to credit my account $15 as they are completely sold out of these at the moment. Now, if it turns out that they do have more, I'm not sure if I will have to return this figure. But as the way the email stated right now, they said I could keep this figure as is. Sorry for the manufacturing defect. Sometimes that's just kind of what happens when you're dealing with plastic. So they want to try and make it right. Credit my account $15 that maybe I can pre-order one of the other figures or the redo of this Batman, or maybe Wonder Woman or Hawkman or somebody else that's coming along. And I did also contact Mattel to let them know that, you know, hey, I ran into some manufacturing problems. And if you look at the bottom of your box, there is a phone number right here, the 1-800-525-8697. I highly recommend calling anytime something's wrong with your figures, because they're sending me a voucher of the price that I paid for this figure. So if I'm able to get these figures in retail, I could go right into my local Walmart, hand him the voucher, and get this figure for free. Get him again. So right now he's appearing to be standing just fine. So I'm kind of on the fence if I'm going to pick up this figure, or hopefully he'll just stay and be nice and not fall apart. Maybe I can score Superman for free. So we'll kind of see what happens there once I get the voucher and if I'm able to find these in stores or not. So I recommend anytime something happens to any of your figures that you call the place that you got them from and call the manufacturer. Sometimes we like to complain and argue about what Mattel is doing. Yes, they have some issues with availability of figures, but they do tend to make things right, and they're going to reimburse me for the price of this figure because it was a manufacturing problem, and they said they want to have us to have, as a consumer, a good experience buying their products. They said no matter where you get it from. So keep that in mind. Do I like this figure? Yes, I like it a lot. It is probably right now my favorite Batman. This has been a close second. Up to this point, this has been my favorite Batman that we've received from Mattel, just because it was new, it was different, it was fresh. And I really kind of feel the same way about this Batman. Yes, he has some leg issues that kind of make me like it a little less, but that's just because it's a manufacturing issue, not because it's an aesthetic view. So that's going to do it for this review. And hey, there's the phone. So as always, this is Rob for Rob's Rogues signing off and saying we will see you guys next time.